And now we got the Don A music. Yeah, know you. Don A. Don A.
Yeah, I can do it. Yeah, I look at it. Yeah, I love it. But you know what? It is what it is. Listen, you think I'm full, I would just got offended. Look, you know what the fuck was the point I was making? Yeah, I can do it. Yeah, I look at it. Yeah, I love it. But you know what? It is what it is. Listen, you think I'm full, I would just got offended. Look, you know what the fuck was the point I was making?
Hey, Jennifer. Yeah. Don A, my new intro music. He's pussy. Yeah, that's right. Know you. That's right.
Yeah, I can do it. Yeah, I look at it. Yeah, I love it. But you know what? It is what it is. Listen, you think I'm full, I would just got offended. Look, you know what the fuck was the point I was making? Yeah, I can do it. Yeah, I look at it. Yeah, I love it. But you know what? It is what it is. Listen, you think I'm full,
Yeah, Don. Gabagool. Know you. Right time, Jennifer, for your first pumping shot. Yeah, know you. Ha ha ha. Ha 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 ha. You hear the fucking liberals are saying that oh, Jason Aldean song is racist. Or Brian Craig talk, give you the lyrics. Not racist at all. Yeah, they were just bullshitting and not being of the truth, trying to make everybody sound racist. They're like, oh yeah, man, those conservatives, they like country music. This country guy, we got to cancel him. You fucking racist. Yeah, 'cause they're just bullshitting and not being of the truth. Yeah, that's right. Ha ha ha! Yeah, that's right. Robert Kennedy Jr. wants to be elected. He should be like, this Jason Aldean guy is not racist, so no, you other liberals. Yeah, that's right. Then maybe he'll be president. Yeah, that's right. They tried. People come on The View and go, everything's racist. A bitch, no you. Ha 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 ha. Yeah, that's right. Uh-huh. They're just bullshitting and not being the truth. I remember a time when Whoopi Goldberg was funny. Now she's old and not, and she's an old white, she's an old black bitch. She's not funny. Yeah, that's right. No, you. Yeah. Yeah. She used to be funny like 30 years ago. Yeah, that's right. No, you. What said Whoopi Goldberg on The View? Boo you, bitch. Yeah, that's right. On tonight's program, we'll have Red Pill news, we'll have Wu-Tang news, Dave Chappelle news, Eddie Murphy news. Soon people will be going, Eddie, no you. Bam Margera news, Metallica news. Of course, we'll have the story of Helen the Keller Goes to Hollywood, and Jim Norton, Anthony Cubia, and Ernie Lang really give it to Joe Matarese. So I'll play the video. I'll have movie and book reviews. Yeah, that's right. No, you. Ha 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 ha. Ha ha. Yeah, that's right. That's coming up on tonight's program. What else was in the news this week? Oh shit. Ha ha. Called into the Brian Craig show yesterday. He wasn't like, Brian Craig, I like Mel Gibson, the actor. Then Brian Craig would have been like, is that Death Wish for me? Yeah, that's right. I would have no, you, Brian Craig. I would have come on and go, ha 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 ha. You like my impression of Mickey Mouse? Ha ha. Don't you live near Disneyland? You fucking conservative douchebag. Ha ha ha. No, I can't do that. What I call it, I have a straight face and everything. Yeah, that's right. No, you. Ha ha. Sometimes he lets me bullshit and not be the truth, that Brian Craig guy. Yeah, that's right. No, you. You know, I heard that guy Brian Craig is 45 and part white and failed at life. Oh shit! Now he's a really successful channel. Before I tried all the I'll spit on him. Yeah, that's right. No, you. We kid around here. Yeah, that's right. I'm an Asian guy, Jennifer. Am I stupid? I guess I am. Robert Kennedy Jr. He must look in the mirror every day and go, "Am I stupid? I guess I am." I'm Robert Kennedy Jr. Error. Am I stupid? I guess I am. Yeah, that's right. Then the mirror goes, "Ha ha 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 ha! Error, you are stupid. Ha 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 ha! No, you, Robert Kennedy Jr. Boo you from the Bronx Zoo. Ha ha ha! You're a future president. Be the president. Be the president. It's Ron DeSantis, racist fucking piece of shit. Scumbag my bum bag. He's a be the presidential candidate. Be the presidential candidate. Ha ha ha. Yeah, that's right. And that's the news. Yeah, that's the monologue. All right, coming up first, we got a video by Method Man. Oh shit, Wu-Tang News. Yeah. Yeah. Coming up right now. Then I've got a book review. Yeah. Coming up soon. All right. Here we are.
Wu-Tang was supposed to be Old Dirty Bastard, RZA, and GZA. Period. That's what it's supposed to be. And that joint that we did, Protect Your Neck, was their posse cut, their symphony with the niggas from around their way.
Right.
And it was more or less like bring $100 to the studio. I don't even know if RZA asked everybody for 100 and shit.
Yeah, that's it's kind of how it started. The Wu-Tang Clan is Brooklyn. That's like RZA, GZA, Old Dirty Bastard. They're from Brooklyn. I'm born in Brooklyn. Yeah. Where's Bond, son? Yeah. Right. And then Protect Your Neck is like everybody else is Shaolin on fire, son. No, you, bitch. All right, back to the video. Yeah. All right, here we go.
I think he just asked me and you because he know, you know what I'm saying? For real, because he knew we was out there on the block. Like, why? Quarter. Everybody else and shit.
God, if you got money.
Word. I brought mine. I don't know about everybody else, but that was supposed to be a posse cut. And RZA being the scientist that he is, he was like, why don't we just come with all these niggas? They at the crib every motherfucking week. We was making tapes at the
RZA is the master of sounds. Yeah, man. Like Metallica got like, they got like thousands of riffs. They got riffs to like their kids are making fucking heavy metal. They got riffs. Right. So RZA probably got like beats in fucking machines. And he probably got like millions of fucking beats. And if he ain't giving to the Wu-Tang Clan guys, he's probably looking for like the next Wu-Tang Clan. Like ain't like RZA's fucking nephew. I can just see now, like RZA's nephew becomes a rapper. He gives like the future of RZA's beats. That'd be cool, man. And like Capadonna's fucking son becomes a rapper, and like he gets RZA's grandson's beats. Yeah, that'd be fucking cool as shit, man. Yeah.
He was already hood celebrity.
Right.
He was making tape after tape after tape. Shit like the majority of that shit that we did on the first album was shit that we was doing since we was 15. Like that came home from jail with the verse off Cream. This is the kind of thing we were doing. We was always around each other, rapping, doing this shit.
36 Chambers of Death, kid.
You know what? It's funny. Okay. Wu-Tang was supposed.
Yeah, Iron Meth was like the fucking Ice Cube of the Wu. He's writing all the fucking lyrics and all that fucking shit. Yeah. All right. It's not quite book review time. Let's get to something like more celebrity news. Yeah. Let me go in my fucking file over here. Yeah. Grab it out. And that was like a new video. So let's see anything else new in celebrity news. All right. Or anything would be cool. All right. All right. This is music news. Eddie Trunk talking about Doc McGee outs Paul Stanley. Oh shit. That's kind of celebrity news. Yeah.
News now here at the top, and there is so much to get into. But while we are on the subject of tracks and lip syncing, this was an interesting development over the weekend. And I am shocked by this, I got to tell you, because there is a guy, and I have no idea who this guy is personally at all, but he tries to call this show a lot, and he's gotten through a couple times. And he basically trolls Paul Stanley online and goes by the name of Sinkin' Stanley, tying in with the allegation that Paul Stanley lip syncs. Amazingly, somehow, and I don't even know how this happened, Kiss's manager.
I don't know if it's completely accurate. They say this person lip syncs, that person lip syncs. They said Motley Crue had backing tracks. I think Red Hot Chili Peppers used backing tracks once at the Super Bowl because, they didn't want the whole Janet Jackson thing. I can see, man, special occasions, use backup tracks. It was them and Bruno Mars, and, they wanted to be safe and not get, like, their fucking shirt taken off or if they're wearing a sock and that ripped off, there's their cock, right? Yeah, I can see what's happening. Those guys don't like to wear a lot of clothing. And they didn't want to sound like shit in front of millions of people. That's one-time event, but saying guys like Paul Stanley and like the guys in Motley Crue are lip syncing, I don't know, man. Could be. They said Aerosmith lip sync once. I don't know if that's true. Yeah. Got this.
Doc McGee went on this guy's YouTube channel, his YouTube show, and addressed this with him. Now, look, I like Doc, and I've known Doc a long, long time. Not well, but I've known him a long time. And I'm amazed at he does interviews and he says some stuff that I don't know how that plays with the band he manages. Like the mere fact that he went on, this guy who just completely trolls one of his biggest client in Paul Stanley and gave this guy an interview is amazing to me. And knowing what I know about Paul Stanley, I can't imagine that Paul would be happy that Doc went and talked to this guy on the record. I mean, Doc is a guy that's pretty much a straight shooter, which I always appreciate. But I was shocked when I saw this. I heard from others that Doc does a Q&A on the Kiss Cruise, and he just, some fans were really taken aback by it because he said something like he wished he killed Peter Criss at some point or something. Like, I don't know. Managers aren't usually that out there saying things to the fan base or giving certain segments of the artist's fan base they represent an audience and attention. But somehow, and I'm reading this from Loudwire, it's also been picked up by Ultimate Classic Rock, that
this is bizarre. The people are all taken aback by the guy's manager. I mean, manager's saying some strange shit, man. But, I don't think it's that uncommon in rock and roll for managers to go saying strange shit and creating rumors and all that. They're kind of like, it's all publicity, everything. Right. And they're all for all that shit. I think it kind of goes with the flow of it all. Yeah. There.
So listen to this. I'm reading this one. I'll read this one from Loudwire, written by Joe DeVita. And this was published today. The article says, Kiss manager Doc McGee has addressed allegations that Paul Stanley has been lip syncing reassuring fans that the Star Child is indeed singing at the band's concert, albeit over backing tracks that are in place to, quote, enhance the overall concert experience. Doc says, quote, he sings every track. So he sings to it. So he's not lip syncing. He fully sings. It's enhanced. Doc McGee begins when being asked by YouTube channel Sink and Stanley when Paul is going to admit he lip syncs. Doc goes on to say, it's just part of the process to make sure that everybody hears.
Oh shit! Those people calling him out. You're like, talk about what Paul Stanley lip syncs. Calling his ass out, motherfuckers. Yeah. Tell us right now. We know all about it, motherfucker. We caught him on tape. Yeah. You can't hide this from us. You're being a beta. Not telling us when he lip syncs. Talk about now, motherfucker. Yeah.
Here's the songs the way they should be sung to begin with. Nobody wants to hear people do stuff that's not real. That's not what they came to hear. McGee continues. When pressed to confirm that Stanley is singing along to backing tracks, the manager reveals he'll sing to tracks. It's all part of the process because everybody wants to hear everybody sing. He sings, but he fully sings to every song. This is just like word salad.
Oh, shit.
This is unbelievable. Two aspects of this are unbelievable. The fact that Kiss's manager did an interview with a guy who trolls his biggest client and uses the name Sink and Stanley. That in and of itself is incredible to me. But, Doc seems to he'll go talk to anyone. I don't know if the band likes that, but it's fascinating.
Doc is like, you want to troll my biggest singer, Paul Stanley, in the biggest band that I manage? I gotta go on your show, motherfucker. Yeah. Yeah, it looks like you got some shit going on, dude. Yeah, I gotta go hang out with you. You trolling Paul Stanley. Maybe you can troll me next. Yeah. I think maybe it's Doc's end game. Yeah.
But the other thing about this is Doc just admitted by saying he's not lip syncing that he is. Whether he realizes it or not, he just confirmed that Paul Stanley is indeed using a track. Now, unless anyone has lived under a rock and is in total denial for the last few years.
Oh, shit. Doc McGee, his manager, said, he uses backing tracks. I'm not hiding anything. No, you. When he sings, he's bullshitting a little bit. Thank you, man. All right, yeah. Back to Paul Stanley A. Trump.
We all knew that anyway. There's a million examples of it on YouTube. There's a million times he's not near the mic. The tracks are actually on YouTube. The actual raw audio that the cues are on is on YouTube.
In fact, Kiss Alive, it's live. Yet they go back into the studio, finish it. So even like their most successful album probably in history is somewhat backtracked. Like, oh, you know what? That version of like Deuce, we fucked it up. Half of it's great. And we only got like one take of that song. Well, we got to do a finishing touch on that one. So yeah. So really like their most successful album ever is live, yet it's not live. So that's like backup tracks in a sense, going way back to the late 70s, mid to late, right? And then I bet part 2 and 3 are probably all the same. So that's like backup tracks in the late 70s and into the 80s. Right, like, oh man, that version of You I Was Made for Loving You, in part 3, we fucked up part of that. It's just the end of the song. Let's finish it right now. Right. So that's kind of finishing touch, backup tracks in a sense. All right, I think we got halfway done here. Yeah, 5 minutes ago. Why won't this play now?
But here is the manager essentially confirming it to a guy who has
Probably
spent his
fake.
life the last couple years trolling Paul. Look, I say my piece.
Prince, it's probably fake, man. These guys, they put fucking wigs on by now. Yeah, they probably put wigs on. That all jeans have like plastic surgery. He kind of looks like a bitch sometimes. I mean, I guarantee you, the hair is fucking fake, or some of it. Like they might have like some real hair, and then they got extensions, right? Because you know you gotta look. It's rock and roll, so you gotta have a certain look when you get out there, man. Especially rock and roll from like the 1970s. Once you get into that look, you got to sort of maintain it. I mean, you get nuance. Like we took the makeup off, then we had a reunion. We put it back on. It was the right time to get all the originals together and do that thing. But then we got to take the makeup back off or put it back on. Yeah, and they're not gonna have all their hair. How old are these guys? Like 70? Yeah. I think David Lee Roth had all his hair, but I heard about Diamond Dave. That was fake from day one. Not like, oh man, we ain't got our original hair left. But I'll put this stuff in, spray that stuff in, and put these extensions in it. Oh, cool, right? Dave, he would just put a wig on. Yeah, that's Dave.
But I have no vent. Like I don't have like it's so funny because I get painted so many times by some certain artists or people that don't like me as this enemy or this problem.
Yeah.
People have no idea if I wanted to be a quote unquote problem, the people I could have had on, the people I could have given airwaves to over the years that wanted to say shit about people. I don't do that. I don't look for drama. I don't look for confrontation. I say my piece. I say how I feel. I give people the chance to do that and I move on. I don't spend my life pounding on one person.
Huh?
But the fact that he gave him an interview.
I mean, yeah, Eddie, you're a professional, right? Yeah, you're a radio DJ for 30 fucking years. Of course you don't chase drama. Your job is to talk about cool bands and music and ask us questions that we want to call in and go, well, here's my answer, man. Great question, dude. That's what we want you to do. Come up with playlists that like, oh, that's a fucking great playlist. That's your job. I mean, chasing drama, that's more for the people that started the rumor, the guy that's trolling him and all that, and the manager that's exposing him. They're in the drama world. You're the guy that we go, well, this is a great fucking album. Cool, man. I can't wait to buy that thing or go listen to it. Yeah, you're that guy. Yeah.
I mean, I can't for the life of me imagine what happens today. When Paul Stanley he lives in LA, so it's at past noon. I'm sure he's up and probably rode his bike for 10 miles already.
Yeah.
But I can't imagine when he wakes up, sees that his manager, unless he told him to do it, went on a guy's YouTube channel and basically admitted there is a track. He sings to a track. What's crazy is Doc is saying he doesn't lip sync, but he admits he sings to a track. Well, then therein comes another thing. Then what is your definition of lip syncing? So if your definition to lip sync,
I would say that right there is lip syncing adjacent. You're singing into a track. Okay. So in your practice, you're doing a little lip syncing, right? And you make a music video, you got lip syncing all over that thing because you play the track and then you try and make it look like you're singing in the video when you're not. Right. Okay, so that's all bullshit. And you're singing to the track. Then what stops you from doing it live? I guess live, he saves his voice for that, I guess. Right. I have phlegm. So that's where I am with my sickness. I lost any really bad cough that would make me sick. I lost any fever feelings, which were maybe there for a day, and I only had a fever for like an hour, maybe a couple. Right, yeah. Right, and I lost any sniffles, any I feel weak feelings, and all I got is phlegm left. Kind of sucks. Back to the video, yeah. Or the audio. Yeah, they're all videos.
Thinking is that the
Remix
microphone
what?
is not even on, and it's all a track, and it's 100%. Then yeah, I guess this wouldn't necessarily be considered to be lip syncing.
Okay. I guess he's the judge.
But my definition to lip syncing is anytime what's not coming out of your mouth and going into the microphone is what's being heard. Whatever percentage that is. You know, if you're not, it's pretty simple. You either turn a mic on and you sing, and that's what people hear, or there's something else going on.
Right.
Like I just talked about with Tom Kiefer. I saw him the other day. The guy spent his...
Like you're playing, like you're not like, all right, maybe singing into the track ain't lip syncing, but I think it's one step below it. It's like, you plug the microphone in, or you say, let's say for a first song, you say, fuck it. Then you're playing the track that you sing into. Then you're lip syncing and you're moving your lips, but nothing's coming out. Or is it going to be real? If you sing into the track, all right, and then you go real live, okay, I got no problem. Not that I would go see Kiss again. I mean, I saw Def Leppard, and I got 2 birds killed with 1 stone. I don't know if I pay all the money Def Leppard will want to go take live for them headlining. They got the double headline. I got to see a lineup of Kiss, even though Peter and Ace weren't there. And you know, it's good enough. And I got to see that big fucking light show that Kiss is. And it was good enough to see once. I saw it. Fucking pyrotechnics, all that is pretty fucking cool. I guess they're the hottest band in the world that night.
His life trying to get his voice back. I can tell you 100% of what came out of Tom's mouth was what went through the PA, and that was it. Nothing else.
Nothing else.
There are very few people. I don't care if you're talking about 50s artists, current artists, 80s artists, even with the lip syncing allegations or claims, there's hardly any of them that are out there where their mic isn't even on. The way it's done is it's a track and it runs under you, and the sound guy rides the track based on how much help you need. So as Doc says in this interview, he's singing to a track. To me, that's lip syncing. Because you might be getting 10% of the guy's actual voice, 50%, 30%, no percent. The guy working the fader at the soundboard is going to determine, based on if that guy has any ability at all to sing that night, how much vocals they're going to be. And here's the other thing. Of course the mics have to be on, because in between songs, the person speaking to the audience, hello, Cleveland, what's going on? The person has to be able to say over like a bridge or something or whatever to make it, hey, let's go, Detroit, let's hear you. All that. The mic, of course, is on. But when that supporting track is coming, which is the real vocal, you bet you got to pretend you're singing to it or sing over it. That's what we're talking about with lip syncing in the modern era. There are very few artists. I know there's somebody told me, I think it was Frankie Valli or something, is actually not, his mic isn't even on. The guy's like 100 or whatever. People go, and it's just, it's 100% lip sync. Now, that being said, between songs, they got to turn his mic on so he can talk to the crowd. You would think.
Yeah, probably.
So this is an amazing thing. This amazes me on 2 fronts.
All out for
it amazes me that the manager of a major band would do this, and good on this guy. Again, I don't know this guy at all.
All right, that's the end of that. Stop. All right. I promised Tony Mann and Stephen Blush I give a book review of this. Great fucking book. Well, you know, some people might say, well, I hate disco. Right, and I hate all the rock bands for going disco, one might say. But, you know, and Rod Stewart, I learned in the book, listen to the critics. Critics slammed him for doing, do you think I'm sexy? But then they interviewed one of the guys that came up with the Melody Carmine a piece. Right, Vanilla Fudge, all that. To them, to the musicians, it was just music. And Carmine said, you know, Rob listened to the critics, and the critics slammed it. But when he played it, they went crazy. Right. Yeah. That's right. No matter how cheesy you think that song is, if I was seeing Rod Stewart, he did Maggie May, and then he did Do You Think I'm Sexy, and I'm with a sexy woman, I'd go crazy. Right. Everybody would. It's like when Debbie Harry and the Blondie played Heart of Glass, that disco song, we went fucking crazy. So there you go, man. Yeah. And you see, there's people on television disco dancing. Yeah. Right. The Bee Gees are probably saying, you should be dancing. Yeah. Right. Grateful Dead heads right off the moment in time when they went disco. Mickey Hart liked disco. Deal with it. It's part of your history. There's the disco ball. Yeah. All right. Get some more notable. Mr. Travolta learning the steps. Yeah, that's right. While using Saturday Night Fever, he had to learn it. People disco dancing in clubs. Yeah. One of the disco kings, Barry White, smoking in a white suit. That was a popular look then. Yeah. The one and only group band that was a disco band. You can't really say the Bee Gees were a disco band. The Bee Gees were kind of like the Jay Giles band of disco. In the 60s, they're a British pop group. And then it's kind of like dance music is taken off. You can either jump in the pile and ride and take the ride and ride with it and adapt, or get left behind and be forgotten about. Right. And the Bee Gees, and, you know, Barry Gibb decided to get his full, what's that fucking full voice thing? He decided to get a different voice, and the voice worked better for disco than any other kind of pop, and boom. And they went on to write music in the 80s and have another hit album. Right. And the club that Mick Jagger and everybody hung out at. Yeah. Great fucking book. I recommend anybody pick it up. You can find it in all kinds of different places. Those That Ran. Steve Rebell and the other guy, Those That Ran, Beat Studio 54. Before that, I learned they had a place in Queens that was a very popular private club in Queens. I think for straight and gays. Big mixture, because wasn't Steve Rebell gay? Right. Right. There's the thumbnail for when I take a look inside the book in tomorrow's premiere. Rod Stewart, Going Disco. Even the Playboy Bunnies got into roller disco. Yeah. Everybody was loving the disco. Well, the fall of disco, the decline, not everybody liked it. There's Mick and his future somebody, Mick Jagger and Jerry Hall. Studio 54, digging on the disco. Well, if you wanted to dance music and do coke and speed, you went to places like Studio 54. There's the famous Donna Summers, disco legend. All right, I'll show you one more picture. Debbie Harry. See if I can find that. Oh, there's, of course, the people saying death to disco. Not everybody liked it. Michael Jackson states in the book that he hated disco. There's LaBelle, Patti LaBelle, and the other LaBelle singers. Right, and he said they hated disco, even though Michael Jackson would join the ranks and make a little disco. Well, I guess you make dance music, you don't have to love it. Right. The Village People. But remember, the Village People weren't a band or anything like Chic. No, they were a studio put together confection. Yeah, they were. Yeah, they were. A lot of artists were. There's a well-known DJ in the disco world. Yeah. There's Debbie Harry. Somebody that went disco. And you can say Blondie or why there were the next disco. New wave discos became the next disco. The Mug Club, the Peppermint Lounge, all that shit. Matt Pinfield, I read in the book, the famous DJ, 120 minutes, right? Said that he hated disco. Yet he's getting off to synth pop and house, things like that. Hello, Matt. That's the next disco? Yeah. You're bullshitting and not being of the truth? Right. He hated one disco, yet he got off to the next disco. Well, I guess he liked it with a lot more yuppies. And people are still getting high while they're dancing to Duran Duran. I guess he liked that kind of disco more than the original. Right. I could say myself, I nowadays actually like a little disco. I like some Bee Gees. I like Night Fever. And what's that other? Jive Talking. Jive Talking is a great fucking tune. Still don't like Staying Alive, but I at least have a start. I like a little Diana Ross. I like all the rock people that went disco, even Rod. That song is a great song, even though sometimes a little too cheesy for me. But I like Miss You. Great fucking tune. Shakedown Street. And there's a whole list of stuff in the book. Right. All right. Movie review, book review over. We'll move on to. I recommend that everybody get it. I got it on the West Coast, so go to your independent bookstore or check out Amazon. Yeah. Book is $25. And if you live in the New York area in September, Steven will be doing book signings in downtown somewhere, I'm sure. And American Hair Metal got a new version, so he'll have that. All right. If you're a Sopranos fan, watched it 20-something years ago or close to, or started watching it 20-something years ago. There's a movie now called The Many Saints of Newark about the childhood days of Anthony Soprano before he becomes Tony Soprano. Right, he's smoking big cigars and he's the head of the mob. You see the days of Jackie Soprano and Uncle Junior Soprano to Tony Soprano. Right, it's like you don't really you see Junior Soprano as he's an old man, get indicted, and then he's on house arrest for most of the series. Right, because that's the days where he's done. You did something, and now murders, all that. But we didn't really get to see him doing it. We didn't get to see the younger Junior Soprano. So it's good to get a nice backstory of those characters. Right. I give that book like 5 bookmarks. No, 6. And I give the movie 6 stars. Great fucking movie. Movie's made by the same people that made The Sopranos, HBO. It's amazing. It's good to see why he's going to hell and who he goes to hell for. There's a prominent figure that I guess they don't talk about in later days of some kind of uncle who, of course, gets whacked right as the movie ends, and he's at his funeral and he goes, "I'm going to hell for you. Watch the movie to find out." Interesting if you're a Sopranos fan. There's also another podcast that I started watching. You can watch on Max, HBO Max, where I watch the other stuff. It's called Talking Sopranos, where 2 of the guys, I think there's a guy named John and Chris Monticello's character, the actors that played them, are talking about every episode. They might even talk about the Many Saints of Newark. Who the hell knows? That might be like a final episode. Like, all right, now we're going to talk about that freaking movie. Right. Even though they're not really involved, you see Chris Monticello is born. Right. So you learn all about his father, who's a mob figure. Right. And that's interesting. In The Sopranos, we know nothing about Chris Monticello's father. So that's super interesting that we learn about him. I love it. What's up, CVG? Yeah, I finally saw it, and then it's a great movie. If you like The Sopranos, go see The Many Saints of Newark. And if you want to reminisce, let's say you haven't seen The Sopranos for 20 years or close to it, right? Then watch Talking Sopranos. I think the guy that played John that came in the second season, and the Chris Monticello actor guy sit down and talk about the entire series. Yeah, which is super freaking interesting. All right. I promised Stephen Blush and Tony Mann that I talk about their book, and I did. I don't think it's edited this time, the book I just talked about by Tony, but Tony had the connections and the influence. Tony was on the rock scene. That's where I credit Tony. If you meet somebody like when Lemmy was alive, or if you ever be like, let's say you're somewhere and you meet one of the Misfits, you can be like, you know Tony Mann? They go, oh yeah, everybody knows Tony. Right. I met Eddie Trunk once. The guy that was the voice of that last video, doing that video. And I said to him, hey man, I know somebody you know. He goes, oh, Tony Mann. Everybody knows Tony. Yeah, so everybody does. Yeah. Yeah. All right, we're done talking about when Rock Met Disco and The Sopranos. All right. Sometimes I have movie reviews and sometimes I don't. Right. I try not to review old movies because you're like, well, we all seen fucking Pulp Fiction. That's a movie that's like 30-something years old. Right. Talk about something new. It's a cowboy hat. I like wearing it. All right. I'm going to go find another piece of news. I usually do Metallica news. This week, we have Megadeth and Metallica news. So we have formed the faction of Big Four News. And here we go. It's coming out at you next. Okay, on Fox News is Dave Mustaine. He went on Fox News, so here we go with Megadeth news. Then we'll go into the cycle of Metallica news. And next week, maybe I'll have Metallica, Megadeth, and Slayer news. Oh, shit. The Big Four news cycle. Yeah, that's right. All right. Fox News, Dave Mustaine talks about the pandemic.
Me tonight, a real rock and roller, legendary frontman and co-founder of the Grammy Award-winning metal band Megadeth, who has the #1 album on every imaginable chart, Dave Mustaine is here. Great to see you, Dave.
Thank you.
Hi, Kennedy. How are you, darling?
Oh, I'm doing great. Me and Ruben are both doing great. Your latest album, The Sick, The Dying, and The Dead. You have an interesting quote here. You said Megadeth
album.
as a band has always been most successful when the world is at its craziest. It is no shock that you guys have just raged to the top of the charts with this. Has the pandemic been good for your songwriting?
Well,
Hold on. Before Dave says that, yeah, in the late 80s, they rose to fame. Right. And you had the whole George H. Bush in the White House. So, right. Yeah. And their political ban, most likely, well, Dave might be Republican now. I don't know. Okay. Don't matter. Right. And then Countdown to Extinction was really popular after Rust Never Sleeps. Right. I mean, after Rust in Peace. Right. And right, that was Bill Clinton. Right. So yeah. The country's at its worst. Megadeth goes right to the top. Yeah.
I wouldn't want to actually put it in that context, but for your fans and viewers, you and I have known each other back from the '90s, back when you were a VJ host, and we did the Night of the Living Megadeth concert in Manhattan. I think it was 1994.
That's
that
right.
You hosted that with us. So I'm glad to get this opportunity to reminisce with you about stuff like that. The pandemic motivating us for songs. I've tried to use things that we all deal with without putting too much of a black or white, yin or a yang to it. I try and go right up the middle so that you can think what you want. With my kids, I've always said, here's the pro, here's the con, here's what Dad would do, and here's what happened.
Yeah, we're the only ones who are keeping rationality in our kids' lives. We have to be the ones who explain to them how to take an issue apart and rationally look at it and think for yourself. Now, people, they often accuse you of putting your politics into your music, but you don't really do that, do you?
Well, I don't put any political party favoritism into my lyrics. I talk about issues that affect all of us, and I've grown up in a very real outlook towards life and the world. I've been living on my own ever since I was 15. So, back in 1976, that's like a 10-year-old nowadays. So, I know what it's like for a lot of the kids that are growing up in our nation, and I believe I have my own beliefs of what a big part of that problem is, and I try and put it into lyrics in a easily palatable way so that people can maybe take a look at stuff and maybe not want what I have, but ask themselves, I don't want what Dave has, but do I want what I have? That kind of a thing, to give yourself a different perspective and maybe another shot at something in life.
What is an issue that keeps you up at night, either as a parent or someone who reads the news?
I believe it or not, I don't really watch too much of the current affairs right now because I don't have a lot of time to do that. There was a period while I was going through my recovery from my previous illness where I got to watch a lot of TV, but I'm just so busy right now. I know a lot of the current affairs that are going on. And, I think it's just like anything in life. When people are going to look back, they're going to figure out who's doing what, they're going to correct it, and we're going to.
Yeah, I like current affairs. Yeah. It affects my music sometimes, but yeah. Yeah, I don't remember Dave ever picking a political side. He seems to be in his stuff very centric, talks about stuff that affects everyone. Right. And he tries never to pick a side. Nah, true. He's on Fox News, known as the conservative channel. But, Democrats and conservatives have similar thoughts sometimes when it comes to certain issues. And sometimes they're on completely different sides of issues. Right. Right. And Dave tries not to cherry pick it. That's why he's such a great lyricist. Yeah, that's right. He really is.
To move on.
Well, Dave Mustaine, it is great to talk to you. People can go see Megadeth on tour, and they absolutely should. You have channeled all of your experience and all of your metal into a phenomenal show. Thank you so much for being here. I always appreciate talking to you.
I've been in and out of therapy with BetterHelp for a few years now, and it's
All right, fresh off Megadeth news with Dave there. We're going to go into Metallica news. There's a little bit more Megadeth news, but I might save it for next week. There's always Metallica news. Let's see what the video that I can find that isn't that far down. No, Helen's still alive, so no you. He was just on stream the other day. All right. If anybody would like to come up and talk about Kumia video I'm going to play real soon and other related stuff in With Apologies land, come on up. Yeah. Come on up, man. So I'll go for that thing where Kumia and all those guys are ripping on Joe Matarese with Artie Lang and Jim Norton and Kumia, right? I watched a little bit of it. It's pretty funny, but it's like way high. Not as high as Don A. Don A was like way up there. But that's why I look for a pre-show, the Don A clip. So I can have it as an intro. Don A does the intro, yeah. And Jennifer showed up and the show began. All kinds of stuff. There's old John Candy videos that people repost and shit. Yeah. All right. I might get in that video tonight. I might do political news. There's a Red Bar video. So this is the With Apologies zone.
I'm doing like comedy math in my head where I'm going, is anyone who knows my wife in the audience? Like I'm all of a sudden afraid of that.
That black guy.
I should figure that out, man.
I love how people think racism is over. That just 300 people just laughed at that. 300. What did everyone in the audience laugh twice? I was trying to help Joe out. This is like I could see Ellen's company buying this.
I'll tell you you can have fun with it. I'll just give you the real story.
Dude, you're like the Lusitania sitting in the middle of the sea.
My wife did two really stupid things back to back. Like in
married you and then
Jesus.
No, it doesn't. Did you ask her to sign a prenup?
No.
Okay. Anybody, the link is out there. It's in Discord. Anybody that would like to talk about this video, and there's merch news. I have a Pod Awful video. There's all kinds of stuff. There's Roll Tomasi shit. So anybody watching that's Red Pill, fans, With Apologies people, link is out there if you want to pop up. I know Bella and the Snake was here, and Focus. You like to talk about that stuff. Come on up, even this video too. Yeah. I don't want to talk about it all by myself. Come on, yeah. That's all I'm saying.
Okay.
Go for all, baby.
We get divorced, I get a BMW.
she worked at McDonald's.
Just end it here, Joe. Yes. Let the band sing something else.
Anthony's so much nicer on his one-on-one show.
This is your show, Elias.
Oh shit.
Why were you arguing about what?
It was, first off, she got in a car accident. She came home.
Holy shit.
She came home.
You start saying funny shit now?
Well,
I know how she feels. I got booked on one.
Hold on.
All right, was she okay?
Yeah, I got that too, man. I mean, in a way, BAM is all with apology related shit too. They've covered BAM. I mean, I want to do this video, Mersh News, and Roll Tomasi, right? And maybe the Pod Awful thing, then get into BAM. I don't want to do all of that by myself. I'll watch the Mersh video, the Nightwave Radio thing alone. Definitely not making fun of Jesse alone. Definitely not. And probably not going to watch a lot of Roll Tomasi or Dante shit alone. Maybe I watch a little Dante. Maybe.
Okay.
I guess the biggest slam is I'm married to a doctor and none of you can keep a woman.
Oh, no.
So-
Married to a doctor. Too bad it's not Kevorkian. He's dead. That doesn't even work.
Joe was like, you know, I'm a real man. I now keep a bitch. You're a bunch of betas. Betas. You can't keep a woman. Also, people in With Apologies World listening, there's a Red Bar video that I spotted as I was looking for this. So I can watch the Red Bar video. It's not that long by myself, but it's much better to watch it with you guys, I think. But I could push like a Roll Tomasi video, like just watch it one short talk about, push the rest till next week. All right. I'm gonna go get a weed gummy, then finish this tape out. If you hold on. Yeah. All right.
All right. So what happened? She had an argument, an accident. She was okay.
She got in a car accident. She left the scene without getting any. She left the scene without getting any anything of the person that hit her in the back of the car. Didn't get their license plate. Didn't get their address. Didn't get their email. Got like not their insurance card. Fucking nothing. And that kind of annoyed me.
Sure.
And then 2 days later, she comes walking in the kitchen. She goes, "Oh, I set up that Peapod thing." Well, okay, what's that? She's like, "Well, you know, you order the groceries. I set up Peapod. They're going to be delivering groceries tomorrow."
That would have been my. Excuse me. Okay. Then you just get in a fucking car accident and you got no information, bitch, about person that hit you, no emails, no insurance swap, no name. I mean, who is this person that hit you? What the hell? They might have well just hit you and driven off. That's how you left it. What the hell? Not just making a fucking Peapod thing?
Tomorrow. I go, "Well, what time?" She goes, "I set it up between 6 a.m. and 8 a.m. I go, "Are you fucking kidding me? Like, that's when I'm getting the kids ready and I got to get them to school." And she's like, "I did something nice for us. What's wrong with 6 in the a.m.?" And then my son
This is so much better than fucking random girls, right, guys? Blows it away. Oh, that sounds.
Never marry a doctor.
I went from AM for the fucking groceries. Jesus. Not marrying a fucking doctor either. I'm with Artie. Oh, that's better than fucking random girls. No, you. They're like, Joe, no, you. That's what they're saying collectively.
Yeah, the last time I got blown, I thought, God, I wish Fresh Direct would interrupt this. Who's he?
Kid Fresh Direct. Nothing like a Hummer and hummus. Boy, this is a good show.
You know what's great? I have bad hearing. I can't hear anything you guys are fucking
Oh, you have no
slamming
idea how
here.
lucky you are.
I'm missing everything.
Well, don't worry, you're not missing applause.
I think you want your eyesight to go. That's why. Go ahead, Joe. The second thing.
Sorry, we paused.
Well,
So she had this book for 6 to 8 a.m. You complain.
these days is that nobody's really connected.
The second thing.
Sorry, we paused.
Go ahead, Joe. The second thing.
Sorry, we paused.
Well,
So she had this book for 6 to 8 a.m. You complain. I want to know. I want to get back on track.
well, this is kind of, well, we can say one of the things I think with everybody running like fucking crazy these days is that nobody's really connecting. I know this is like fun for you guys to slam the shit out of me,
Yes.
but
It actually is.
It
Yeah.
is.
I didn't think I'd like this as much.
no, but
They're getting joy of it because they're comedians. It's like with apologies. Early days of me being on with apologies, the thrill of every Sunday was just being there, right in the thick of it all, slamming Ian. And that was CEO's favorite part when CEO was around. Yeah. Wait. Okay. What's the best part? Where Ken TV goes at Ian and Ian goes at him. That was his favorite part. That's what funny people do. Yeah. That's one thing they do.
I can't think of anything more fun than this evening. This is actually awesome.
it's fun, but it's very disconnected, and that's why you're saying
Yeah.
it. It's like I'm
stop
serious.
No.
I'm
No,
serious.
that's why I'm a comedian.
No, but you know, this is like a podcast, and you know, it's all right to slam.
I'm
the shit out of
signaled
me.
because of fat shaming.
No, but I feel like the world we're in.
It's time to stop staring at
I
the
need to
Dunkin'
get
sausage, egg,
premium.
and cheese.
I'll do, but it's like
And time
fucking
to go
$20
get this
almost.
Dunkin' sausage, egg, and cheese.
It used to be
For
cheaper.
$3 with a medium
They
or
upped it
larger
to like
coffee.
18 bucks.
It's time for a Dunkin'
I don't
run.
need premium
America
that
runs on
bad.
Dunkin'.
210.
And now that everybody's like a little.
When I cut the best of, let's say I make this segment because I'm making good comments, I'm funny. Ads, and let's say I take a break after a couple more videos or another video, right? Breaks cut right out. They make the cutting room floor because that's what they are. You got breaks in the live. You're not gonna have breaks in the premiered clipped version. Nope.
Little fucking disconnected.
Cover it
No
up.
one has a real conversation. This doesn't feel like a real conversation.
This is how you wanted to have a real conversation?
Yeah, in front of a room full of people. Are you guys
I wanna hear
enjoying the
jokes.
show? That's as connected as you can be to an audience.
But seriously, do you have a problem connecting one on one?
Of course we do. You know that.
Right.
You've known
Okay.
me for 20
course
years.
we do.
You know, that's why I'm on the radio.
I don't know what it is, but every comedian that I've met that is super fucking quick-witted, like all three of you guys, you're all single and you have trouble in a fucking conversation.
And hold on, you think
every
I'm serious.
trouble
We
in a
actually couldn't
conversation?
wait.
Wait, no.
See?
He thinks I have trouble connecting. Tell him I don't.
No, that's true.
Jimmy
That's
says-
true. And every comedian
No, it's
I
not.
know,
It's wrong. It's actually wrong.
every comedian I know who's not witty and not funny is married to a doctor. Obviously, a
If like, Joe Matarese, you're not funny, no you. No, that's a joke.
joke.
I will.
I mean, I'm not gonna
Wait,
sit
wait,
here
wait,
and take
but
that.
I'm not a disconnected person. Like I know that you guys are quicker witted than me, and very.
not true.
I really think that.
That's not
I
true.
know for a fact if we had the yes, you are. But I know from being in this business for 29 years what I might be better at than you guys.
Life.
Which would be
Well, life
Life,
probably.
yeah.
Life.
Is he doing an Opie impression?
What do you think?
yeah, dude. Fixing Joe. This right now is what you should fix. The fact that you're getting resentful.
I'm not getting resentful.
Or
I'm not
uncomfortable.
resentful. No. You know
we're
how
having
no,
fun with you.
No, I know you. I'm not resentful. I swear to God, I'm not mad. I like that you're getting the laughs. I swear to God, I'm not.
Well,
that-
someone's
I-
got
I-
us.
I'm- No, but seriously, I think you guys can relate to when you're in some sort of situation like this with a bunch of comics, and if they're talking more than you and get more laughs, it's a normal comedian thought to be like, "Fuck, I'm bombing." It's
You're
like
not
we get that
bombing. No one
feeling.
is
though.
thinking of that.
No, I know, but it's a natural thing. Like I don't know.
Joe, you're gonna die amongst your grandkids. I'll die to Marriott in St. Louis.
Yeah, that's what I need.
Let me have this night.
All right.
My last moments on
At
earth
least I got
surrounded
that-
by Big A and Bobo. They're my family. That'll be great. What did I fucking do wrong?
I'm gonna die when I'm still in my hooker phase.
Well, and have
He
fun
does.
with this because seriously, I want to know, like, when you do a show, and answer it honestly, all three of you guys. When you're done, do you go hide or do you sit and shake hands with the people?
Depends. If I sold merch for a year. I took more fan photos than almost any comic I've ever met because I would sell merch afterwards and talk to almost anybody
Right.
who's been to a Jim Norton show.
Right.
I talked to almost everybody on the way out.
Yeah. Okay.
And if
Oh,
I have
gotta
to
go
talk
more
to
showdown.
100 people that I might fuck one, I will absolutely.
Absolutely. Well, it depends on
I
how many
love
days
that.
you're teaching. Molester.
All right, I'm gonna give that Mersh video out. Then I might have to take a shit for real. All right. Show me the news because the Mersh video on Nightwave Radio is kind of among the new stuff. Right, it's among the newest stuff, so it's not that hard to find. Just gotta dig a little deep, right? Because I specifically look for with apology stuff to talk about. I do that. Or is it here? That. All right, this is about Merge having a bad start to his show. That's what this is. And we've got a little bit of time for it. Well, I saw a bad start to the Nightwave Radio. That could be interesting. All right. Yeah. All right. This program is brought to you by Linktree is pinned. So, or no, it's not pinned. Linktree is in the description. If you want extra videos like me interviewing bands like Sub-Zero, 7 Seconds, the hardcore band Fear, with Lee Ving, and I might get to interview Capadonna's cousin Smooth on Patreon, then do a separate interview. Right. There's already videos of the Sub-Zero band being interviewed on Patreon. There's a person on the street outtake of my mom being interviewed. Right. So if that kind of thing interests you, and a puppet show of the puppets. reviewing a horror movie. Find out what movie. Make a pledge. Linktree. In the description of YouTube. And I put it on pinned to the Twitter page. So if you're watching from Twitter, it's there too. Yeah. All right. Bam Margera news starts next. Stick around. I have any recent Bam Margera videos? Let's see. A big thing in news. No, not there. I'll have other celebrity news after this. Stick around.
Never mind Jeff Tremaine. He's such a fat pussy. There's no need to talk about him. Knoxville, get into a boxing ring with me with no gloves on. 1, 2, 3. I'll fuck you up. Let's everybody bet money on it. I will.
Bam, by the way, in this video is extremely fucking drunk. I think this is from a few weeks ago. Yeah. So people might say, oh, Bam's straightening out. No, yo. Doesn't look like he's straightening out to me, man. He's fucking wasted as hell in this video.
Will fuck you up in one punch. You're such a pussy. You can't say
People always want to fight when they're
that's
drunk.
what you made me do with Paramount, you fucker. Never mind Jeff Tremaine. He's such a fat pussy. There's no need to talk about it.
All right, that's a quick Bam video. There might be more Bam news, but let's get to a little bit more celebrity news. All right, down the pike. I saw some good videos on the way to that. All right, let's get quickly to how Teach met Chong. Let's get to it. Okay.
Cheech.
I met him up in Canada.
How did you first meet Cheech?
I met him up in Canada. He was dodging the draft, and I was running like a safe house. It was a strip joint, but Cheech was, first of all, I had a improvisational comedy troupe with the strippers.
You had an improvisational comedy troupe with strippers?
I took over another Fairling club.
Okay.
Well, you know, that could work in the world of comedy, you know. You got to do what best for business, man. A club is failing. You take over, man, and what works, works. Yeah. That's right.
And I put in Vancouver's first strip joint. And then I decided that I should make an improv group out of the girls and the guys that were working there, and which I did. And then I became part of the act.
And then Cheech walks in the door?
No, and then we needed a straight man. We had a straight man that his wife didn't know what he was doing. A mutual friend who Cheech worked for said, hey, I got a guy that's really funny. And so he brought down Cheech.
And the rest is history.
Yeah, that's right. All right, a couple more celebrities.
Up with an interview with, they called it Chippy, a weekend heroin addict, and I took copious notes about how they behaved when they're on the good stuff and when they're on the bad stuff, and I came to a happy medium about the behavior that he would have. And then finally I said, okay, these notes are wonderful, but how do I execute it without getting a taste of what this is like? So finally I said, what do I do? Because I'm not going to do heroin. So
Yeah, I mean, heroin, it's a whole thing. I mean, as an actor, you want to get like what it is. Like, how do I act like I'm on heroin? Right. You don't have to actually do it. You could get the feeling and then apply your acting ability to it. Yeah. I don't think anybody expected John to do heroin. You don't have to get into it to get into it. That's right. Yeah.
what can I do to actually feel something? He said, well, okay, if you have to, plaster it on a bunch of tequila and lay in a warm pool of water. And he said, then you'll be at the bottom of the feeling that you start to feel when you're on heroin. And I said, I could do that. So I ordered a bunch of shots of it and did it and went, okay. And then the notes I could apply to that.
John staging his comeback in the pulp fiction. Some kind of role that brought him way the hell back. Now he's in everything. He's just in Gotti. Love it. That guy could do almost anything. And if it wasn't for Pulp Fiction, we wouldn't have all that. He was in that OJ TV series. They were all kind of like mini movies. That was great. Yeah, he's in lots of stuff.
Feeling and exaggerate it when needed. And so it worked beautifully for me. But I remember Quentin even saying, I don't know exactly what John's doing. You know, he's shuffling slowly and talking slowly. But that was the arc of the heroin. Quentin set me up with an interview with, they called it Chippy, a weekend heroin addict. And I took coke.
All right, I'll give a couple more videos and that will be news tonight. All right, one is somewhat related. All right, I found this video kind of entertaining from somebody that is in the Discord. Before we get back to celebrity news, let's go with, can you believe for 3 minutes? Gay Guitar Guy did something entertaining? Whoa! Let's go to the videotape. Yeah. He made a video and I checked it out. I was like, you know what? That's entertaining. Okay.
Sup, faggots? Want some fucking muscle?
You wanna know how I got these fucking guns? You wanna know how I got so big and strong?
Tell us, but at least showing his guns off, we can't write Gay Guitar Guy off as a beta. Showing us how-to videos. This is how you get ripped, dude. Very alpha behavior on his part. Alpha, yeah. All right, back to the Gay Guitar Guy.
Working out for fucking pussy. Go fuck home, smoke some fucking weed, drink lots of fucking sugar.
So he's saying get really fucking high. Working out for fucking pussy. Says the guy going, seems like before you worked out, you smoked a little too much with all your coughing. Then you were coughing like a beta cougher. Beta cougher. Workouts for pussies. Said by no one that ever worked out. That's all I got to say. Yeah.
That's how I get my fix. That's where I get my fucking gun from.
I'm drinking lots of sugar. How's that gonna make you fucking
You want to know where my fucking protein comes from? You want to know how I got these guns?
Yeah.
Smoking fucking cigarettes, dude. Smoking lots of fucking cigarettes.
Okay. Smoking cigarettes makes the less amount of sense I've ever heard Gay Guitar Guy say in one sentence. Yeah, I got these fucking guns. I'm such a fucking alpha, right? By smoking cigarettes. Never a sentence said, by anybody that's in shape or out of shape. Right. Everybody that smokes cigarettes would be, I got fat by eating lots of sugar, cake after cake, and then quitting smoking. I got fucking ripped, smoking a bunch of weed, drinking sugar drinks, smoking cigarettes. No one has ever said that. Ever. That's kind of like the John Belushi sketch where John Belushi wins the 50-yard dash. John Belushi wins another Olympic medal. Then you see him smoking a cigarette and drinking coffee. He goes, "Well, chocolate donuts. It's been on my breakfast table since I was a kid." That's like the whole funny idea of that you see him winning fucking Olympic gold, right? John Belushi wins his 5th Olympic race. And then you see him smoking a cigarette and eating donuts. Right. That's like, working out for fucking pussies. I get ripped. I smoke weed. I drink sugar drinks. And I smoke cigarettes. No one will ever think that's how you get ripped. No. Sorry, gay guitar guy. No, you.
Smoke 40 of these bad boys a day, all the time. Go to the store.
40
get
cigarettes?
That's
a high number.
100. Smoke those motherfuckers. You want to know where I get my fucking calories for the day? My protein.
Hold on. Before we tell us where you get your fucking protein, before we call out that bullshit. 40 cigarettes a day? Like 20 come in a pack. So smoking 2 packs a day, that's how you're getting in shape. Next, gay guitar guy has lung cancer. That's coming next, right? After his last power workout smoking 50 cigarettes, he coughed up a black fucking lung. Oh yeah, your black lung workout. How that's going, dude?
For the day, where I get my fucking guns from. Smoking lots of cigarettes, indeed.
Yeah.
Smoking lots of alcohol.
Hold on.
Yeah.
So smoking weed, sugar drinks, cigarettes, and booze is how you got in shape. And sorry, that besides the cigarettes, that's how you get fat. How do you think like the guy in the Butthole Surfers, Gibby Haynes, went from a skinny pot smoker and heroin addict to a guy that quit heroin, started drinking alcohol in the 90s, and got fat? True, he probably quit that alcohol because I've seen him lately. He's skinnier in his old age. But, that's how I get ripped. These fucking guns, these 26-inch fucking pythons you see. I'm drinking, smoking, drinking sugar drinks. And you get some smoking weed. Next, he's going to say, and you know what you need to add to your workout? Meth. Smoking lots of meth is how I got ripped. No. So you all saw your teeth. That's what you should be saying.
If you're tired of being pathetic, if you're tired of your friends talking to your other friends and saying that you're a faggot, if you're tired of being worthless, this is my fucking ego chaser right here.
Then do the gay guitar guy workout because it sounds like the workout of such a winner. Such a complete fucking winner. What sounds like? No. It sounds like the most degenerate loser fucking workout ever. You want to get ripped? You want these fucking 26-inch fucking pythons? Sounds like gay guitar guy got in shape. Right? Got fucking ripped. That's how he got. The kids say he has. A bitch was like, oh my God, I was at the gym. I saw this this guy that calls himself online gay guitar guy is like the hottest dude ever. 10 years later, after he had the kids, smoking, drinking, still got the guns, but got a fucking stomach, and he's drinking sugar drinks constantly. And he's got like, he's like this, ripped with the guns, and this. He's like, and this. He's got a flabby bubble stomach. I'm sure of that. Right. And he goes, oh yeah, man. Yeah, how's that gay guitar guy? I got fucking gigantic guns from smoking 50 cigarettes a day and drinking sugar drinks and getting baked. How's that going? I bet he's got a big old chest of flab bigger than mine. And he's got the guns. He could probably kick most of our asses with his guns. And then it's like, oh man, and you sat on me. That's how you defeated me, because your ass and your stomach are so huge. I bet he's got the big guns and Kim Kardashian ass, because he's just constantly, like, when he's drunk and stoned, eating like fucking donuts and shit. I'm sure that's the way what's happening there. Yeah. And McDonald's, I'm sure that's like when he's stoned, he's like, oh man, I'm drunk and stoned and I got another cigarette to smoke. Part of today's walk is going to be McDonald's. It's like a 20-minute walk. I'll walk there and that's exercise. Then I'll eat like enough for like 3 people. Yeah.
Go walking down the road. Hi, I make more money than you.
He's doing Hell's Bet? What the hell?
Hi, I'm bigger than you. I got more muscles than you. Hi, I'm a fat fucking retard. Listen, I don't.
Hold on, wait, what? Now gay guitar guy is stealing Helen's bet? What's going on here, man? Helen's the guy that says, I make more money than you. I'm Helen, yeah. I'm business Helen. Now gay guitar guy is stealing that bit? Now he's stealing people's bets. Damn it. That's a Helen bet. Can't steal that gay guitar guy. No, you.
I don't fuck around. You got that? I don't fuck around. You got that? I don't fuck around. Listen, dude, I don't fuck around.
Mark said that way 4 times.
Capiche? I don't fuck around, dude. Send $20 to my PayPal. To my PayPal. To my PayPal. Send $100 to my PayPal. To my PayPal. Send $50 to my Cash App. Man, I got all the muscles, the guns, money, bitches, the trucks.
Notice how, all right, you got the guns. Notice how it looks like there's some flab on that stomach. Looks like he's probably got man boobs. Because he's smoking, drinking, and probably overeating. And he goes, get my fucking arms in shape, man. Alpha shit. Yeah. I bet he's like, that's all fucking mass. So he's kind of like delusional, I'm sure. Like the Mac character. The Mac character's got fucking guns and shit at some point, and is fucking fat at some point too. He's got big guns, but all flap. Yeah.
In the world.
This is less than a minute. Like you're worthless. Yeah. All right. I got a couple more videos and I'm out.
The build-up to 1984 started in 1981 after coming off their Fair Warning tour. While the band took some time off, Roth suggested they do a cover version of Martha Reeves and the Vandellas Dancing in the Street to keep their name out in public. At the time, Eddie could not figure out how to Van Halenize it, so he suggested Roy Orbison's Oh Pretty Woman. Alex and Roth got behind the idea by constructing an elaborate video that MTV would later ban. The Pretty Woman video required more than the song's 3-minute runtime to execute. So according to Roth, he wrote Intruder on a Mini Moog analog synthesizer, marking the 4th time Van Halen used keyboards on a recording. The first time was for the band's 3rd album, Women and Children First, on the track And the Cradle Will Rock.
Wow.
The other 2 were on the band's 4th album, Fair Warning, on the tracks Sunday Afternoon in the Park and So This Is Love. To everyone's surprise, the song became a hit. So the top brass at Warner Brothers sent the boys a message via their producer, Ted Templeman, that they needed to make an album quickly. Templeman said, when you put out a hit single, you better have an album to go behind it because nobody makes any real money on a single. I'm sure those guys thought by releasing a single and a video, they could temporarily pause the annual album tour cycle they had been on since 1977. But,
well, be careful what you bargain for. You make a video, well, people are going to be, all right, this is a great song, cool cover. Is there going to be an album? Because I want to see this band on tour, man. I haven't seen Van Halen yet. This would be a great album, right? You can't tease people with a single. Well, where's the damn album? Out with it. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, people want it.
But instead, the word came down to me from Mo Austin and Lenny Warnaker that Warner Brothers wanted a new Van Halen album within weeks. Van Halen's management agreed. So the message to the band and me was, okay, guys, you got a hit. Let's get moving. Go into the studio. With no time to work on new original tunes, the band padded the album with 5 cover tunes. It took them around 12 days to record Diver Down at Warner Brothers Amigo Studios. The album came out on April 14th, 1982, and would end up selling double their previous album sales with 4 million copies. At the time, Ed defended playing covers to the criticism of critics. But years later, he would say Diver Down was the last straw and he'd rather play his own music. He never wanted to be under the gun of Warner Brothers, Ted Templeman, or the man that would end up being his band nemesis, David Lee Roth. He would gain his freedom, like many of us have over the past few years, by working from home. In late April 1982, Ed went to the Roxy Theater to watch and jam with one of the few guitarists he looked up to, Allan Holdsworth. Since Holdsworth was considered a player's player, it was no surprise that Frank Zappa's stunt guitarist, Steve Vai, was also in attendance. Vai gave Ed his number and let him know if he wanted to meet Zappa to give him a call.
I love Steve Vai, one of the greatest instrumentalists on guitar. I would pair his stuff right next to Dick Dale, probably the greatest instrumentalist ever. Sure, Dick Dale sang stuff. Yeah, he had pop tunes and he liked doing covers. But man, when he did one of his surf tunes, you know, the sounds they heard when he's out surfing, nothing like it on the planet. Considered early American heavy metal. Dick Dale, those songs were heavy, man. You got these really thick fucking strings because Dick Dale wanted to sing, sound as fat as Gene Krupa. He had these freaking, yeah, he wanted that big drum sound. They got really thick fucking strings. Yeah. If he had a Marshall stack, heavy metal in America would have happened in the early 60s. Yeah. Yeah, total. They didn't have big amps like that then.
Ed called Vi, who wasn't home at the time, but he got Zappa's number from Vi's roommate. Ed then called the Zappa household, where Gail Zappa answered and handed the phone over to Frank. In the background, Gail got her son and budding guitarist DeWeasel on the extension to see if it really was Edward Van Halen talking with his father. When 12-year-old DeWeasel listened, he thought he heard the same guy who says, "Come on, Dave, give me a break," on Van Halen's Unchained, but he was wrong. Later, DeWeasel would learn that the voice in Unchained actually belonged to producer Ted Templeman. According to Eddie, the first thing Frank said to him was, "Thank you very much for reinventing the electric guitar." Within an hour or so later, to DeWeasel's amazement, the current Guitar Player magazine Guitarist of the Year was walking into his home and wearing the same red jumpsuit from Van Halen's Women and Children's first album, and he was carrying a guitar. Frank, wanting to hear more Van Halen, asked Eddie if he would go back home 5 minutes away and bring over some of the band's LPs. Eddie complied and returned to play 3 albums for Frank: Fair Warning, Women and Children First, and Diver Down. Loving the music, Frank said to Ed, "I thought you were just another fucking AC/DC." Over the next couple of hours, DeWeasel would watch his father, Eddie, and Vi pass around the guitar and play in Frank's home studio, which was known as the Utility Muffin Research Kitchen. Surprisingly, Frank and Vi, notorious audio recorder hoarders, did not record the session. Later the same year, Frank would say, "Eddie Van Halen is a good guitar player, you know? He's entitled to all the adulations that he can acquire."
Getting tired? No. My fingers got stuck.
Frank wanted to encourage his son's passion for playing the guitar, so he called Ed and asked him if he would produce a song for DeWeasel in Zappa's home studio.
I have to get some water, so I'm taking a water break. This is good. This is like there's 11 more minutes. This is the last tonight. I could go to Hangout. I can go to Hangout after this. Yeah. But not till then. Shave.
Let's do this. We're going to take this 4th generation home and give it a huge transformation.
I've been going to
Same guy who says, "Come on, Dave, give me a break," on Van Halen's Unchained, but he was to DeWeasel's amazement, the current guitar player. Within an hour or so later, to DeWeasel's amazement, voice in Unchained actually belonged to producer Ted Templeman. According to Eddie, the first thing Frank said to him was, "Thank you very much for reinventing the electric guitar." Within an hour or so later, to DeWeasel's amazement, the current Guitar Player magazine Guitarist of the Year was walking into his home and wearing the same red jumpsuit from Van Halen's Women and Children's first album, and he was carrying a guitar. Frank, wanting to hear more Van Halen, asked Eddie if he would go back home 5 minutes away and bring over some of the band's LPs. Eddie complied and returned to play 3 albums for Frank: Fair Warning, Women and Children First, and Diver Down. Loving the music, Frank said to Ed, "I thought you were just another fucking AC/DC." Over the next couple of hours, DeWeasel would watch his father, Eddie, and Vi pass around the guitar and play in Frank's home studio, which was known as the Utility Muffin Research Kitchen. Surprisingly, Frank and Vi, notorious audio recorder hoarders, did not record the session. Later the same year, Frank would say, Eddie Van Halen is a good guitar player, you know? He's entitled to all the adulations that he can acquire.
Getting tired? No, my fingers got stuck.
Frank wanted to encourage his son's passion for playing the guitar, so he called Ed and asked him if he would produce a song for DeWeasel in Zappa's home studio. At the time, Ed was rehearsing with Van Halen for their upcoming Diver Down tour, but made time for young Zappa. From May to June 1982, Ed and Van Halen's longtime engineer, Don Landy, started working with DeWeasel and his friends on a song called My Mother is a Space Cadet. DeWeasel and his buddies couldn't really play, but they finished the track with the help of co-songwriter Vi, DeWeasel's sister Moon, and some slide guitar and unison string bending from Eddie. With Van Halen having an unwritten rule not to work outside of the band, Ed and Landy went under the pseudonym of the Vards, a pun on the way Van Halen's mom pronounced his first name, Edward. The rule came into play after Gene Simmons tried to coax Eddie into Kiss. Simmons had financed the band's original 1976 demo tape and unsuccessfully attempted to secure a record deal for the group. But in late 1976, Simmons recruited Eddie and Alex to play on demos for 3 songs: Christine 16, Got Love for Sale, and Tunnel of Love. In the 1995 book Kisstory, Simmons said he liked Eddie's solo on Christine so much that he had guitarist Ace Frehley replicate it for the final Kiss version. In his 1997 book, Crazy from the Heat, David Lee Roth wrote, at that time, he suspected Simmons was absolutely trying to steal Eddie away from Van Halen. Eddie knew of Roth's paranoia, so he kept the Zappa project on the down low.
All right, let me tell you something. I read to you that I'm bad enough to go to hell. Yeah. Because I have been through it. Yeah. I have seen it. Yeah. It has happened to me. Yeah. Remember, I was signed with Warner Brothers for 8 fucking years.
After spending a month in Frank Zappa's studio, it was clear to Ed and Landy that Zappa was afforded the luxury.
There's a great documentary about Frank Zappa called Eat This Question. Interviews with Zappa. You hear it in his own words. He wasn't a big fan of the music business. Probably why he had his own private studio. At some point, he had his own label. Right. Yeah. He loved making music, but sometimes people that ran the business weren't very nice to Frank. Well, you know, it's the nature of the whole thing. You have a few hits, they'll be a little nice to you, and then snakes screw you right behind your back. Well, that's the nature of all that business. Yeah.
Of independence with his music, partly due to having his own studio, a place where record labels and budgets set no time limits, a place to experiment without worrying about the cost, a place where a producer would only be allowed in when they wanted him to be there. Engineer Don Landy, who had engineered all of the Van Halen's previous 5 albums, saw eye to eye with Ed's thinking, so they set out to create their own creator safe space.
They'll sell their ass, their cocks and balls, they'll take the check and walk away.
Cock and balls? Cock and balls? He said cocks and balls. Frank Zappa, the original Helen. Yeah, that's right. Nah.
drives home and comes back with a guitar with Floyd Rose's new, one of the nicest, sweetest people you'd know. Here are two small examples with the Zappa family. DeWeasel and his band, Fred Zeppelin, were at school, sound checking, running with the devil for a talent contest. Ed stopped by and DeWeasel told Ed his guitar kept going out of tune. Ed drives home and comes back with a guitar with Floyd Rose's new locking nut system that significantly helped keep guitars in tune. Ed also noticed DeWeasel was playing Running with the Devil incorrectly. So Ed patiently showed him the correct way to play the song.
Correctly.
After the gig, Ed told DeWeasel he could keep the guitar.
Frank Zappa, composer, guitarist, free speech advocate, and a unique figure in American music.
Well, you know, they were Ed's songs. He wrote them. Dave might have written some of the lyrics. Right. Yeah, he's a singer and all that. Sometimes they do that. But yeah, Ed is the guy that played the lick on and wrote mostly all of the music for Running with the Devil. You're playing it not correctly, he's going to tell you. You're playing it incorrectly. This is how you play it. He's the one that should know. It's his song. Yeah, that's right.
For nearly 30 years, died at his home in Los Angeles last weekend.
The other act of kindness was within an hour after the announcement of Frank's death in 1993. Ed was the first person to call the Zappa household with condolences. Ed was so well liked by the Zappa household that he was their first choice to introduce Frank to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Due to his introversion, Ed turned it down. Ed had the means to have his own home studio, while Landy had the know-how to build it. Technology was not the main factor in choosing equipment. The choices were based on what sounded good and what was available at local parts stores. So one of Landy's first moves was to source out a Bill Putman designed universal audio console for $6,000. Bill Putman is known as the inventor of the modern recording console. Ed said, "We went to take a look at it, and it was this old dilapidated piece of shit that looked like it was ready to go in the trash. Landy got it, and then he wholly rewired it." One of Landy's next moves was to bring in studio designer and longtime work associate Howard Weiss. Weiss brought in a qualified crew of other studio specialists, electricians, builders, and Ed's brother-in-laws, Drew and Pat Bertinelli. While Ed was on tour with Van Halen, Landy, Weiss, and others continued building the new studio at the Van Halen compound. Weiss said, "The deadline we faced required us to work at all hours of the day and night. Valerie Van Halen suggested that club daiquiris were to be consumed in great quantity."
Yeah, I think they built the Electric Ladyland when Hendrix was on tour. And then he'd be there day and night burning the candle at both ends. We're glad his father Al, probably the engineer, most likely, or somebody's recording. Everybody's happy that was happening. Yeah.
Quantities to maintain the proper state of mind. Don insisted on the continuous viewing of Blazing Saddles while consuming daiquiris.
Man drink like that and he don't eat, he is going to die. When?
Surrounded by tall trees and barbed wire, the Van Halen home is located in the hills above the San Fernando Valley, north of Los Angeles. A guest house with an unused room sat at one end of the property. Initially, they considered this as a possible control room site, but after some further investigation, they decided it would be best to build the studio from the ground up. Now, zoning laws disallow building a home studio on your property. So Ed told them it was for a racquetball court and got it approved. The space was divided into two areas, a control room being built 17 feet wide by 14 feet deep with a ceiling height sloping from 12 to 10 feet. The remainder became the studio, measuring 17 feet wide by 23 feet deep, sloping again from 12 to 10 feet. The slab was covered with half-inch particle board and half-inch parquet flooring. 2 feet from the rear of the control room, a wall was constructed to house 3 48-inch high racks of outboard gear with a...
That's fucking tight, man. That fucking board is lit, man. They got some fucking good tile down. Yeah, son, yeah. It's Dante's studio. Know you. You didn't know I made heavy metal. Yeah, I'm Dante. I play guitar. Know you. Yeah.
tape machine. This wall was then carefully tested and found to be bulletproof with a 44 Magnum at 2 feet. Yes, 5150 is literally bulletproof.
Being this is a 44 Magnum, the most powerful handgun in the world, and will blow your head clean off, you could ask yourself the question, do I feel lucky? Well, do you, punk?
Ow, might as well jump!
Wow. Love me some fucking Clint Eastwood. Yeah, that fucking Clint Eastwood shit is lit, son. Yeah, know you. Yeah, that's right. Boo you. Yo. About 4
One
minutes
unique
left.
problem confronting the builder was a 50,000 watt AM radio station just 3 miles from 5150, which could lead to the radio station's broadcast bleeding over when Ed was recording. It was a necessity that Ed be able to play in any location, facing any direction, without hum or noise problems. The solution was building a pseudo chicken coop. Standard chicken wire was used in the walls, flooring, and ceiling to surround the entire recording area. The concept worked flawlessly.
I love it when a plan comes together.
Due to the high heat retention of the exterior walls, a 64-degree inside temperature is maintained, while outdoor temperatures may vary anywhere between 29 and 110 degrees Fahrenheit. In addition, Ed and Valerie's 2-car garage was commandeered to become a shop, tape library, instrument storage, and kitchen. The adjacent guest house also was taken to become the lounge. For any gearheads out there, the text on the screen was the initial studio equipment list. I'll have a link in the description to an article that 5150 studio builder Howard Weiss wrote about building 5150 and where I lifted much of this information. Landy came up with the studio's name, adopting 5150 from the California Welfare and Institution Code for involuntary confinement of a mentally unstable person deemed a danger to themselves and others. Don overheard the code number one night while listening to...
Yeah, you're mentally unstable. We know people like... I like Mel Gibson, the actor. Seems like he's 5150. Oh, shit. Do other people too. Yeah.
public broadcast on a scanner, and Ed and Don jokingly called themselves 5150s after many around them said they were crazy to build a studio. Both agreed that 5150 was the perfect name for their new asylum. Once the control room was built and the sound system was ready to be tested, the tape that just happened to be within reach was the DeWeasel tape. My Mother is a Space Cadet would be the first music played in the new 5150 studio, and they were blown away by how good it sounded. Later, the sound of Eddie and Alex playing would waft over to nearby homes in the Hollywood Hills. Eventually, it became too much for Eddie's neighbor, Lindsay Wagner, star of the 70s TV series The Bionic Woman, who would call Eddie's wife, actress Valerie Bertinelli, to ask for the studio doors to be shut. Eddie would have to buy Wagner out of her property within a couple of years to get around the complaints.
Yeah, you get rid of the neighbors. You can make as much noise as you want at Dante's studio. No, at the studio. Well, neighbors complain. Later, no neighbor anymore. Yeah, well, you want to have a big, loud studio in your house. Yeah.
While Landy and others finished the new home studio, the band continued to fracture at the end of the Diver Down tour. Roth, the outgoing attention seeker, and Eddie, the borderline introvert, were pulling apart the fastest. Despite the growing estrangement, the band completed the tour on February 12, 1983 in Argentina. Ed would go back to his new 5150 studio, Michael Anthony would head back to his wife, who was his high school sweetheart, and Alex Van Halen would rejoin his then girlfriend, Valerie Kendall, who would become his wife in June of 1983. Roth would head out on another excursion in his adventure crew named the Jungle Studs.